here, episode 3. It's been a minute. We had a little layout, but go watch the last 2 episodes. Gus, Frazier, you know what I mean? We episode 3, we got Leon S. Morman in the building. What's going on?
What's up, Cam? Great to be here. Great to be here. I appreciate the invite.
Of course, got the Fresh Prince of Fundamentals, Ron Brown in the building, and then it's just Goose. It's just the Goose, so whatever.
Just the Goose Trollman Reigns?
I'm Trollman Reigns. I mean, I'm a troll. That's what I do.
All right.
You're trolling the whole Yu-Gi-Oh atmosphere or ecosystem, saying you're back and you're just still in retirement.
You are in denial that you're in retirement, bro.
Like, I got a whole brand new Despia deck. Okay, so I'm playing. Okay.
Despia? Yeah. Damn, you lose the Ash Blossom, bro.
Not why I got this damn call by the grave. I mean,
the one of.
The one of that I got to draw.
If you got the one of to my 3 of. I mean, I guess you got it. I guess you got
it. The math ain't mathing, but you know, it's Yu-Gi-Oh. So
I mean, if you got it, you got it.
Yeah, you asked that Brandon Fusion. I got this Nadir servant right here. So I mean, I'm still gonna get my board. Okay, so at the end of the day, you call it what you want.
All right.
Anyways,
that's what you want to believe.
Flora Cartel follows Facebook, IG, YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, TikTok, Twitch. We everywhere. We did a round table yesterday. Who should have really been together? I mean, doing love triangles and anime cartoons, all that other shit. So we had fun on there. Shout out to everybody that showed up. But you know, we here another deck profile. So tell us about the deck you plan on serving up.
All right, so this deck is one of the anticipated decks of this format. It's called Purrely. This is a bunch of fucking little ass cats that just do a bunch of nonsense. So I'm going to break down the deck for y'all as best as I can, and then obviously, you know, if you guys got any questions, feel free to jump in. So the deck only has 2 main deck monsters, which is Purrely and Purrely. So Purrely, on summon, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and you can take any Purrely spell or trap card, which you can see on the list here. That's most of the deck. Like, that's all of these. And then its other effect is you can reveal a Purrely quick play card from your hand, and you get to special summon the Exceeds monster using that Purrely and the quick play spell that is mentioned on this Exceeds monster. So I know it's a lot to follow, but hear me out, right? It does a lot of bullshit. So I'm just going to go through the monsters and then the spells and everything.
We gonna let you cook.
All right, yeah, let him cook. You know, I used to be chefing back in the day anyway. But all right, cool. So we got Purrely. Also, I forgot to mention, Purrely, it's not once per turn. So if I summon all 3 of them, I just get to check my deck 3 times for cards. Purrely, unfortunately, both effects is once per turn. But this card effect on summon, normal or special summon, it searches your deck for any non-quick play Purrely card. And that's really important. I'm going to get into that later. And then its other effect is it's the same as Purrely, but it just targets a quick play in graveyard, and then it exceeds summons using itself the one in graveyard to summon one that is mentioned on the Exceeds monster, the quick play that is mentioned on the Exceeds monster that you targeted, right? So those are just all the main deck monsters. The deck only has 2 main deck monsters. Most people are running 3 and 3, but you can get away with running 3 and 2. You have to run 3 of the vanilla one here, Purrely. All right, so now we're going to get into the quick plays. So all the quick plays, what they have in common, besides being quick play, is that on activation, they all do something. And then at resolution, you can discard a card to summon a level 1 Purrely monster from your deck. So in hindsight, every quick play Purrely card is a starter because they all get you to one of these monsters from your deck. So, which is why Ash Blossom does nothing, because you can't possibly Ash Blossom all of these. And none of them are once per turn. So, I'm going to get started with the quick plays. So, Delicious Memory, its effect on active... Wait, you got a question? All right.
We let you cook.
We listening.
All right. So, Delicious Memory, on activation, you choose a monster on the field, and until the end of the next turn, it can't be destroyed by battle. Then after that, you can discard a card, like I said, summon a level 1 Purrely, so you can summon any one of these. And then when it's attached to a Purrely monster as an Exceeds material, you can, I believe it gets extra attacks. I got to double check. Yeah. No, this one gains 200 attack and defense for every material attached to it, and all the effects stack. So if I have 2 of them, 600 for every material. All 3, 900 for every material. All the effects stack. So these cards get really stupid really fast. The next one is Happy Memory. On activation, target a card on the field. The first time it will be destroyed, it's not. Then you can discard a card, summon a guy. When it's under a monster, let me double check because I get mixed up. This card can attack monsters up to the number of copies of this it has underneath it +1. So if it has 1 copy, it can make 2 attacks on monsters. If it has 2 copies, 3 attacks on monsters. 3 copies, 4 attacks on monsters. Right. So
they're already doing too much, but
right, they're already doing too much, right? So actually, one of the OTK combos is you would activate other one, Delicious Memory, target a monster on your side of the field. Because I don't have to target my shit. I can target your shit. So you have an attack position, anything, it can't die by battle. And then I put 3 of these on something, and then I just punch it 4 times and you die. So yeah, that's one of the very dumb OTK combos.
Stay down, Rodney. Stay down.
All right, so we'll go to the next one. This one on activation, these next 2 are the 2 best ones because you don't need another card on the field to activate them. So this first one here is both players gain 1,000 life points, and then while it's attached, double checking. Once per turn, you can send one other card you control to the graveyard. Target 1 card your opponent controls and attach it to the Purrely monster as material. So it's just like remember that card 101 Honor Arc where you just take an attack position monster and just absorb it. That's what this does. It just gives them that effect. And also, if you have more copies, I believe you can do it more than once. So yeah, that's dumb. And then Sleepy Memory is another dumb one. On activation, the next time I will take battle or effect damage, I just don't. And then when it's attached to a material, when it's attached as material during the opponent's standby phase, I can draw a card. So if I have 3 of these in the monster during your turn, I can draw 3 cards during your standby phase, which is why the deck plays a good amount of hand traps. So Sean, you look like you got something to say.
Well, like yeah, okay, that made sense now. It's like, well, how's this deck doing the whole draw during the opponent's turn thing?
All right, cool. And then I'm gonna get into the not quick plays. All right, so the main one is my friend Purrely. Continuous spell. Once per turn, pay 500, reveal 3 Purrely cards from your deck, add 1 to your hand randomly. Right? So this pretty much gets any quick play or any other card you need. Its other effect is if a Purrely Exceed monster leaves the field because of an opponent's card. So you can destroy it by battle, card effect. You can kaiju it, tribute it. As long as it's by an opponent's card, I can target up to 3 quick plays in my graveyard and add them to my hand. So this is just crazy ass recursion. Right. The next non-quick play card I'm going to get into is Purrely Street. It's the field spell. Its first effect is the turn that Purrely monsters are special summoned, you cannot target them with card effects. So no Veiler, no Imperm, none of that, right? Its next effect is during the end phase. Each person's end phase, I can go in my deck or graveyard, grab a Purrely quick play, and attach it to a monster as material. And then its last effect is, once again, if your opponent makes a Purrely Exceeds monster you control leave the field by any way possible, I can special summon a level 1 Purrely from my graveyard or deck. So this is just more recursion.
Just doing shit.
Right. It's doing a lot of shit. And the
fluff
last
ball to move.
Huh?
I said the little fluff ball to get it moving, man.
Yeah, the fluff balls that once this deck gets rolling is completely out of control. And the last
I did have one question.
What's up?
Is that a crystal beast in there?
Yes, and I'm going to explain that to you in a minute. I'm going to explain the last Purrely main deck card that's a trap. Purrely Leap. So what it does is you target a Purrely Exceed monster you control. Special summon from your extra deck any Exceed monster that has a different rank than the one you targeted. Right? And during the next end phase, that one gets bounced back to the extra deck that summoned off of this effect. So this works in combination with the Sleepy Memory. So generally you would have 2 Sleepy Memory during your end phase. On your opponent's turn, the Sleepy Memory will trigger twice. You will draw 2 cards. You will then activate Leap to summon another Purrely Exceed. And because it's a new monster in the standby phase, it can activate 2 more times to draw 2 more cards. So yeah, it's just the deck does a lot. And I didn't even get to the Exceed monsters yet. So these are just all the main deck cards. So
we just doing shit.
Out.
Right. The deck just does a lot. Once it starts snowballing, you're probably just going to lose. It is ridiculous. So we're going to go to the Purrely Exceed monsters. The first one is Purrely Beauty. Once per turn, you can target an effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects to the end phase, and this becomes a quick effect if Purrely Pretty Memory. So this particular quick play spell, if it's attached to it as material, becomes a quick play. Yeah. So up to 3 times per turn, all the Exceed monsters have the ability. Besides the big ones, they have the ability when you play a quick play, they can add the quick play as material. So they just gain that quick plays effects. And they each can do that 3 times per turn. Right? So Beauty here is the effect Beller on legs. Yeah.
You're always
and then also they have another effect after they gobble up a material. So if I activate a quick play, chain this effect to take the material, I can also change a monster's battle position. So so this card alone isn't even the best one, and it just gets a bunch of stupid effects. So like I can put you in attack mode, I can negate your effects, and then I get effects based off of what is attached in terms of quick play. So I can draw cards, I gain extra attack. Right, it gets stupid. So the next small one, this is one of the main ones. This is Plump. So this one is quick effect. If you have Delicious Memory under it, you can target up to 2 spells and trap cards in people's graveyards, either player's graveyards, attach it to itself as material. When this card activates its effect to absorb a material, I believe you can you can Farfa a monster, so you can banish it to the end of the turn. I know this gets dumb. The next one is Happiness. So this one is the attacker. This one helps with the OTK. So at the end of the damage step, if this card battles, you can add any Purrely card from your deck to your hand. So if it attacks something, you can add a quick play, and then because you're still in battle, you can play the quick play, and then it can absorb it and do other stuff. If this card has Purrely Happy Memory, it can half the attack of a monster on the field after it attacks. And when it absorbs, I gotta double check. When it absorbs a monster, or I mean a quick play, you can return a spell or trap card to the field. So it can clear back row. This is the main card you use to like beat a monster 5 times in the face, and then every time it swings, you can search a quick play spell. Yeah, it gets really stupid. All right, and then the last 2 are the big ones. So Happiness. So both of the big ones can be special summoned if you use a Purrely Ring 2 that has 5 or more material. So this one, when it is summoned, I can detach 1 material, and then I can negate the effects of all face-up monsters my opponent currently controls. And then also, if I have, I believe, 5 or more material, you cannot. Oh, hold up! If your opponent cannot, I gotta double check. These cards have a lot of effects, so I get mixed up sometimes.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Right, we just got a whole crash course, right?
Right. So during your main phase, you can detach 1 material from this card. If you do, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of the turn. Your opponent cannot activate cards and/or effects in response to this card's activation if it has a level 1 Purrely monster as material. When an attack is declared with this card that has 5 or more material, it just burns you for 15. So another OTK with this one is giving it the one that gives it multiple attacks, and then every time it swings, you get burned for 15. On top of the difference of battle damage it's attacking. So I can make your monster can't die by battle, give this 5 material, and it'll probably have like 3 attacks. So I'll swing on your monster 3 times. You will burn for 15 from its own effect, and then whatever difference in damage you're taking. So yeah, that's dumb. And the main big guy is Nord.
Oh yeah, the ball.
Yeah, so this one, same summon requirement. a Purrely monster with a Purrely monster with a 5 or more material. You slap this on top. When it has 5 or more material, it is unaffected by all other card effects. And then it has a effect that you can detach 2 material to target a card on your opponent's side of the field and put it back to the bottom of your deck. And if it has the level 1 Purrely monster as material, it's a quick effect. So yeah, that was
So it's just what's that? That reminds me of Masterpiece.
yes. But Masterpiece is only unaffected by what it should be. If this has 5 or more, it's unaffected by everything.
Everything.
Right.
So even it would be unaffected by what is it? Incarnate, the chick, the 1-star chick.
Oh, Divine Incarnate.
Yeah.
No, it would not, because that card is not an effect. That card is just a summon condition.
Okay.
So if I activate this effect during the turn, you could just drop her and it will tribute her, because that's a summon condition. It's like Cyber Dragon. It just happens. It's like it's no chance for me to respond.
Yeah, out here. No?
Right. Yeah,
Okay,
you're just
so-
out here. But that's only if I activate its effect. But if it has this card during the beginning of your turn, which lets me draw during your standby phase, that's it activating its effect to draw me a card.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that is a good card against this deck. Like kaijus in general, or stuff that just randomly tributes my shit, is just a good card against this deck in general. So that was all the Purrely cards. Y'all got any questions so far, or anything I want to say about that?
The Crystal Beast sauce, real quick.
All right. So I can get into that real quick. So the Crystal Beast, for this deck, there are discard engines, because when you start playing, you have to activate the effect and then discard a card, right? So I personally like the Crystal Beast engine because you discard Rainbow Bridge. Its on-field effect is irrelevant. Its graveyard effect, though, is you can banish it to add any field spell of your choice and a Crystal Beast monster.
Same deck
So-
they ran in. Same card they ran into
Turn
earlier.
that so you can get that extra ability.
Right. So if I start my turn by activating this, discard this, summon one of these guys, in that same moment, I can banish just to add their field spell and the Crystal Beast Kobold Eagle. And the reason why specifically you run the Kobold Eagle is because it has an ability. If you draw it before you get any of these engraved, you can summon it, target itself, and put this on top of your deck. So it's back in the deck, so you can activate this to search it in a field spell. So that's specifically why they're running the Kobold Eagle over any other Crystal Beast monster.
So they ran that in the Terror deck, which is they searched the turtle.
Yeah, because the turtle was Aqua. Yes,
Yeah.
I was on that wave. Yes, we searched the turtle, and then also we searched Mystic Mine.
Right.
Because that was legal. I actually think I have that deck list still on my dueling book. One of these. I think this was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was the old tier list. But yeah, we
I
searched
see
the
the
turtle
new
and
turtle.
right. But it was the same idea.
So the eagle and the turtle have like the same effect, or just the attributes are different?
The turtle's effect, I believe it was just like after it attacks, it can go to defense or something. But like we played it in tier because it was Aqua.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And
So
it
you can use a lot of the Aqua fusion. So like
make Kid Carlos.
Kaleido Heart literally says Rhino Heart plus 2 Aqua monsters. So I can put it back if I drew it. Kit Kalos, Aqua Monster, same thing. So it wasn't bad to draw. Like I could still use it for something.
Right. So even
Right.
if it was in the graveyard,
Right.
you put it
just
back
use
in the
Terra
deck
Element and
and make
shuffle
Kid
it back,
Carlos, make Kid Carlos, and then it repeats the same process.
Right. My bitch banned though, so rest in peace. She was
Yeah.
too good.
All they had to do was hit her, and the deck would have just fell.
Maybe. I was actually still cooking with that deck. You can ask Sean. Sean saw me at locals a few times, so I was still playing Terra Element.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just a little. It's not really bad. It's just Kid Carlos made it more consistent.
So what about the side deck? Did you
the side deck? All right, so the side deck is still a work in progress. So the idea is Ash Blossom. I'm only maining 2 because Ash Blossom isn't the greatest card right now. It's not the greatest, but Despia is still a deck, and Despia damn near auto loses to this card. Like if I ash your Branded Fusion, you don't really do anything. Like your board is not really a threat after that.
Right.
So yeah, so That's
So
why Ash. That's why it's 2 main and 1 inside. But this deck can simplify game states really well. So like the big guy can just like spin all your cards. Now your top deck and you go activate. I don't know, just for a card Pie to Prosperity, and then I just Ash it, and then you just go like, well, I lose now because now I don't have anything. And that's
Right.
also the reason why for the hand traps, because you want to draw into these. And these are also the best hand traps in the meta right now. Not actually Ash. Ash is like probably the 4th or 5th best hand trap right now. The best hand traps are the Drone Lockbird, the Ghost Ogres, and actually Gamma. But I don't know how I feel about maining Gamma right now. I have to do more testing. This
So-
is just what I have so far.
So explain to me why Ghost Ogre is one of the best hand traps in this meta. Right?
Because there's a lot of cards that are very key that Ghost Ogre just deals with. So even in this deck, like in some cases, like a lot of players would go like normal summon Lily. Lily's effect adds any non-quick play Purrely card. So you'll get the continuous card. And then I'll go activate the continuous card, pay 500 to get a quick play card, and then you'll just ogre it.
Okay.
And now I'm just stuck there unless I already have a quick play card.
All right. So same
Ogre
thing
just
with
hits a lot.
So same thing with Droll Lockbird. So when they go activate the Lily search, you just Droll Lockbird. They just sit.
Right, but the thing is, this deck can play around Droll and Lockbird very easily.
Right.
So, for an example, if I open up one of the quick plays that I don't need a card on board, so let's say Sleepy Memory and Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, during the draw phase, because you cannot activate Droll and Lockbird during the draw phase.
Right.
During the draw phase, I can activate Sleepy Memory, pitch the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, summon this, excavate 3 cards, add a card, still in draw phase, banish this, add the field spell, add the Kobold Eagle. If I have another quick play spell, I can activate that, summon Lily, add memory, and this was all in draw phase.
Right.
So you can never draw me.
Right. The only one will
Yeah,
probably stop that would pretty much be Ash, pretty much.
Yeah, but all my cards add, so it's
Right.
impossible to ash everything. It's impossible. You can't do it. So this deck, if I open up the right hand, I can just play around draw. I don't really care. Ghost Ogre, I can also play around that because if you remember one of the card effects, I believe it was Happy Memory. Happy Memory says choose a card and can't be destroyed by card effects. So if I go activate my friend Purrely, you go chain Ogre, I can chain Happy, and then at resolution, I can target the my friend Purrely. The Ogre doesn't destroy it, and then I still add my card.
Okay.
So this deck can just inherently play around the best hand traps in the game right now.
So here's my question.
All right.
Does the deck lose to the Dimension Shifter, or does it play around Dimension Shifter?
This deck can actually play Dimension Shifter itself.
Okay.
Right. So this deck only needs a couple of cards to get started. After it gets the ball rolling, it doesn't really care about Dimension Shifter.
Okay.
It's actually some builds that, like I said, they side Dimension Shifter. They also side D-Fissure.
Right.
So this deck doesn't really care too much because all the Exceed monsters say activate 1 and then chain their effect to just equip to it. So the spell card never goes to the graveyard, so I don't care about Dimension Shifter.
Right.
Right. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The last thing I guess is the main thing I can talk about.
Speed in there. I
Yeah,
guess you don't
that's-
really have to use your normal summon that much.
No, there's a lot of times where I don't need my normal summon. So in that last play I told you about, like if I started with Sleepy, pitch this, summon a guy, search, summon another guy, search, then I would activate this, add another one. I never normal summoned at that point. So what I would do is I would build up to I had my Noir, and then I would summon Vanity's Fiend over the other level 1. And that also stops all the kaijus. That stops Kirikara. That stops pretty much everything you can do to break my board for the most part.
So the only thing that really would stop it
in 2023.
So the only thing that will really
we got Christy out here. We got spell cancer.
So the only thing that really stops it is lets you open up either Forbidden Droplet or you open up Dark Ruler No More.
Neither of those cards do anything.
It don't work because you still got to deal with that.
Because the Noir is still unaffected by it.
Okay.
It's not an activated effect. So if I had this on the board with 5 material, you go Dark Ruler No More. This is still live.
Right. So no. So what I'm getting to is what I was saying was is you Dark Ruler No More him and so if you're having him and Vanity Screen on the field, so you obviously like. I'm not saying he wouldn't be a problem. It would be Vanity Screen because Vanity Screen stop you from special. So
Right.
so the object would be getting Vanity Fiend off the field. You deal with the Vanity Fiend
Exactly.
first.
Yes.
So,
but then it's like depending on what people are citing, you have to choose your poison.
Right.
So like in the side deck, my side deck isn't complete. These are just cards I'm thinking about. But this is a card people are going to be citing. It's called Herald of the Abyss. I actually physically have 3 copies of that card right here with me.
Right.
So what this card does is it says pay 1,500 life points and then declare a monster type and attribute. And then I am forced as a player to send a monster with the declared type and attribute from my side of the field to the graveyard. Now, this card is good and easy to play around at the same time because if you activate Herald of the Abyss and declare Dark Fairy and I have nothing else, and I send the Nor, right? Because I'm sending it, it doesn't trigger this field spell. It doesn't trigger this for me to add back 3. Because I sent it. Make sense?
Right.
But the problem is extremely easy to play around because any quick play card plays around it.
Right.
Right. So what you do is you activate Herald of the Abyss, pay 15, declare Dark Fairy. I chain any quick play spell, summon Lily, which is a Dark Fairy, and then I'll just send that.
All right. So my next question is, okay, so
this is loaded today.
The major cards in there that's an issue would be pretty much the quick spells. The quick spells are the issue of, so the quick spells are 90% of the deck.
Correct.
Okay, so if a branded player is playing you, I'm a branded player myself. So if you playing branded,
well, you
they go
first, Goose. So, I mean,
they play
trying to get the answers.
they play explosion.
Trying to get the sauce.
They play explosion, bring back Vanity. Bring back Invader of the Darkness in the draw phase. Does that cripple your deck? Does it slow you down, or does it just force you to go to the next game?
That depends. So everybody's not running this deck like this,
right?
And then also, like, I personally main Dark Ruler no more because it is just the answer to everything right now.
Right.
So even if you did do something like that, I go Dark Ruler no more and I still just play cards.
Right.
Unless you give me like the gimmick puppet too, but like that's a stretch. You're not doing both. That's
right. It's just one or the other. So if you play the gimmick puppet, 9 times out of 10, that's pretty much probably an auto win for most decks. I'm not going to say Purrely.
This one. The only reason why I'm saying not this one is because the cards, the quick play cards are dumb. So say for instance, you go first, you set up expulsion, you give me the gimmick puppet, right? So then I can't special summon basically, right? This card is dumb because I can still special summon on your turn. These are quick plays. I can still special summon on your turn. This card just says I don't take damage from the next time I would take damage. And it puts a body on board.
Right.
Let me see. I think it was this card. No, it's this one here. It's Delicious Memory. So after I put a body on board, I can target that same monster, and that turn it can't die by battle.
Okay. So
right.
So my next question is, so say if Kashtera survived the list. What is the matchup for that? Like, what is the probability of you winning that matchup against Kashtera?
Against Kashtera, so I would say game 1 it's about 65-35.
Okay.
In Purrely's favor. Obviously the die roll is very important. They still have a lot of like stupid ass cards, but like a lot of these cards are really good depending on how they start. If you hit them with an early draw, they will just lose. Ogre is also really good against that deck that people weren't realizing because it just removes the monster. So like perfect example, like if you go special summon Unicorn, Kashtera Unicorn, activate effect, I go Ogre it. And then also that forces you to search certain cards if you don't already have them.
Right. Exactly.
So like if I do that against a Unicorn, you have to search Birth or you have to search Theosis if you have another monster already.
Right.
But if you don't have another monster, because the Kashtera only plays like 10 monsters.
Right. So
if you don't have another monster, you're forced to search Birth.
Yeah. Unicorn is the one you want to stop, pretty much. He's the
Like I said, it all kind of just depends.
right.
But yeah, that also sucks. So then also like me personally as a player, if I open Dark Roll no more and you just popping off, I probably won't even do anything. I'll probably just hold my ogre in my draw.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
You
I probably just want to
you
Dark
have
Roller
to
no
the
more.
next turn. For
Yeah,
any,
honestly, I'll probably just activate Dark Roller no more, summon this thing that will be able to swing onto all your monsters and search cards every time I swing, clear your whole board, search everything, make this big dickhead, and tell you to go.
I see you only playing the one copy of Zeus. I don't think a deck like this would be like a Zeus Turbo. Like you have like what?
I don't think this is a Zeus Turbo deck because it's more powerful sitting on Nor. And I say that because like unless you open a kaiju, if I have this with 5 material, you're not doing anything to it. Because one of these materials is always going to be Delicious Memory that says this card gains 300 attack and defense for every material. So it's going to go plus 1500 attack and defense. So this is at 43 defense. What are you doing to it? I would just sit there and just watch you struggle.
Right.
You're just looking at it the whole game. I would just do nothing.
Unfortunate at regional, I had to play again. I played against this deck twice. Once at the Waffle Regional and once at Philly Regional. Now
not
I
the Waffle Regional. We don't talk about the Waffle Regional.
I was the head judge of that regional because I was playing the V-Dubs with Spell Canceller. So I won die roll and then I dropped the Spell Canceller before I even knew what I was up against. And he just basically couldn't do much. So I didn't really get to see much of the deck. And the same thing happened for game 2. But then at the Philly Regional, I played against the same guy, wildly enough. He dropped that no R on me with inf materials. And I'm just like, I don't think I have anything in my deck to deal with that.
You just look at it. It's fucking 5,000 defense, and I can keep spinning your cards back to your deck. Like if you actually play, like generally the idea is like you summon this turn 1 with 7 material. So it gets at least two spins, at least. And then you just sit there, and then you just go to end phase, and you just go like, all right, I'm spending this back, I'm spending this back, I'm spending this back. And then on the next turn, I will just kill you.
So you just get up and mistworm your opponent and start end phase.
Exactly.
Shout out to Mistworm. Remember that? It was a card.
Yeah, Mistworm. One of the big dumb-headed synchro monsters. But yeah, this deck can also do a spell canceller play. So Secret Village of the Spellcasters is an idea that people do. Right. So this isn't my real side deck, obviously, because I'm still working on stuff, but this is here because builds can play it. Like if you see Rainbow Bridge, expect to possibly see this in the side. Because Rainbow Bridge can search any field spell. So remember that very play I told you about earlier where like you in draw phase, you go activate, quick play, pitch Rainbow Bridge, all that stuff, right? So that play, you generally always end on 1 or 2 extra Purrely monsters. So if you end on 1 extra Purrely monster, they can search Secret Village, go into Relinquish Anima, which is a spellcaster, and then you just never touch it because they can protect it by battle, they can protect it with Nor. Yeah, they can just protect it. So you're never playing spell cards. And then the other option, if they have 2, is Slacker Magician, which says if you target it with a card effect, I can negate that effect and destroy the card. And once per turn, it just can't die by battle naturally. And it's 21 defense. So that plus Secret Village is pretty much game.
So interesting. And I guess going because you got to test the deck and you got to figure out how easily it is to crack the deck as far as beat it. What options would you say would be better between the Herald card or the XYZ Encore that people were playing?
So XYZ Encore for right now will probably be really decent because I haven't seen a lot of people on Vanity's team, and I don't know why, because it's just a great card. Most decks just simply can't play once you start Vanity's team. Like even Cash Terra, like they have to open up Birth and another monster to try to do something about this. And then also I have the Nor. So like you're gonna go Birth. I'm just gonna spin that back to the bottom of your deck, and I'm gonna tell you better have another one.
I'll tell you right now, from because you already know I play the Christians, so
right.
from that experience, it really puts them on you have it or not.
Right,
You know?
exactly.
And that's just the first layer, you know.
My favorite
Exactly.
line in Yu-Gi-Oh! If you got it, you got it.
You
Right.
got it.
It's a card
You got
game.
it.
If
Right.
you got it, you got it.
But if
So-
you ain't got it, I ain't gonna make it easy, you know.
Exactly. And then like another thing, so Hair of the Abyss is another reason why I wanted to play Vanity's Fiend, because it puts you in a weird, awkward state where, like, if I go first after siding and I end to ignore Hair of the Abyss, you have to pick your poison, right?
Right.
So if you pick to send the Nor, mind you, I'm most likely going to have this. So I'm going to summon a guy. Well, no, actually, I wouldn't summon a guy because I'll have Vanity's Fiend up. But I'll have this up, and I'll get back 3 cards for next turn. And then also during your standby phase, I probably drew 1 or 2 cards because the Nor probably had this under it. So you have to pick your
cards plus your 3 cards back from the graveyard. You got a full hand.
Exactly.
So
I'm pretty much putting you on. You better fucking kill me.
You gotta kill me through all
right.
these
You have to.
So you would have
the
to.
moment you don't. And then also another thing as a backup plan, I personally like setting one of these, like one of the sleepy memories, because like I said, on activation, the next time I take damage, I just don't.
Right.
And it puts a body on board, and that body searches me another card.
Right. So I think in my personal opinion, that combination with Nor and Vanity's Fiend will probably be the issue more than Nor would be.
It depends on which you have and which you side. So if you're siding kaijus, so first of all, if you're siding just like realistically, if you as a competitive player, you're not siding both Hair of the Abyss and
I was just about to point that out. I was going to say, as a competitive player,
you're not siding both.
Of not using cards that target the monsters or affect the monsters. I'm going to try to affect the player. But when you put stuff on there like Vanity's Fiend and or a combination, now I just took out cards that wouldn't be useful versus the Noir.
Right.
Like,
and then also Hair of the Abyss makes this card live, Triple Tactics Thrust.
Right.
So that's a card you can get off of Thrust because, like I said, during the standby phase, if I activate that monster effect to draw a card, that's me playing a monster effect. Thrust is live. You can now get Hair of the Abyss, and then you can make me send it. But like realistically, the only combination of cards you're going to have after siding to deal with both of them is maybe Hair of the Abyss and Imperm, or Imperm Kaiju. Imperm is literally the only card you're going to have in combination with one of the other cards that will let you deal with both. And Imperm is not
you gotta
really
have a
being
monster
played.
negation, and you have to have removal.
Real quick.
All right.
Do you feel with this deck that you would going into game 2 feel safe from typical side decks?
Yes, 100%. Because the things people are citing, at least right now, is evenly match. Those are cards they're citing kaijus. Because of this deck, they might be citing Hair of the Abyss. But like, I really feel like Nor plus Vanity's Fiend, like you have to have the Imperm plus your side deck to deal with. I'm literally putting on you better have it, and then like mathematically, you're not going to have it all the time. Because most people also against this deck side out cards like Valor and Imperm because of the field spell. I start special summoning these guys, you can't do anything to them. Right. So it's like layers of mind games that you're playing with your opponent. Because they're going to see this card, especially game 1, they're going to be like, well, I can't target none of those dickheads anyway. And then this guy comes out, he's unaffected by shit. Why am I playing Valor and Imperm? That's going to get sided out, and then kaijus are going to go in, or Hair of the Abyss is going to go in. And then I will play this guy in Vanity's Fiend, and then you're just like, well, shit.
So how do your deck deal with Flying Sea and Dimensional Barrier?
Dimensional Barrier is the same as I said with the Gimmick Puppet. I just like kind of chump block on your turn. Because like I said, this deck can, like, say for instance, like whatever deck you're playing, you can kill me if you get like 4 attacks on board. Like if you hit me 4 times with damage, right? Well, this card inherently stops 2. This card plus Delicious Memory says I just don't die. because I summon a guy, I don't take damage next time, and that monster I just summoned can't die by battle that turn. So,
So how would you deal with the flying sea?
the flying sea generic link monsters.
Okay, generic link monsters.
I
Okay,
do have space to play generic ass link monsters.
I think the purpose of this deck is it's like you know the deck in and out, and then you're well aware of the meta for right now.
Exactly.
So as an opposing player, you don't see this coming. You gotta read every card. So you're gonna waste time reading every card and think you know what you have to oppose it, but then it's just like you already know. You know better.
Exactly.
It's one of those decks where everything else in the meta has to be aware of its existence in the sense that like you
not necessarily. You're right and you're wrong.
Are right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right and you're wrong about that because the thing about this deck is that it can adapt really well. It's like I'm not sure if Cam and Goose remember this, but I know Sean. I know you were around at the time. Burning Abyss Necros format.
I remember.
All right, so that deck was just.
God damn, I ain't that old.
I'm not saying you were that old, but I don't think you were playing at that time.
I played Burning Abyss.
All right, but Necros format.
We can move on.
I seen it around that format.
Just H-No, my bad. But like the deck can just adapt, and the reason why the deck can adapt because I'm going to show y'all visually right here, right?
This is what the core actually is.
Exactly. This is the bare bones of the deck. 23 cards. Even in the extra deck, right? You don't really need any of these cards. So main deck, extra deck, this is just the bare minimum of what you need, right? So the rest of my deck could be anything to beat the meta, whatever specific hand traps I need, whatever power spell. So like, for example, I'm using Dark Ruler No More now. It could go to Triple T because everybody's playing hand traps right now. So I can start maining Triple T. I can lane Thrust. I can play Cross-Out Designator along with these cards because I literally have 14 spots.
Totally different.
Right, and then also another thing, which is a flex spot, you could take out one Lily and one continuous. So I have even more space. So I literally have 19 spaces minimum of just anything I need to combat the meta. Exactly. So that's why I think this deck is really powerful, and I want to play it because like it could just adapt. Every time the meta adapts, this deck can just adapt right along with it. And it could just take down anything. So like perfect example, people are on Spell Canceller. This deck can just play triple Imperm or triple other cards or Dark Ruler No More or whatever. Like I said, whatever I need. So
it's got plenty of space for you to spend some of that extra slottage on whatever you want.
So I personally feel like in the hands of a
draw phase and all that, you just draw
exactly, and I feel like in the hands of a good player, this deck will just always be able to adapt because a good player, like obviously, I don't always have time because of work and life and shit. But like if I had time to always look at the meta, always be on like Dueling Book and like see what people are playing and look at tournament reports, I just built my deck around all of that. I could just literally have a list here and be like, people are playing this card, people are playing this card. I'm like, okay, what counters these cards? This counters that, this counters that, this counters that.
Yeah, they can always
every time
do it.
Yep.
Right. So what would be the deck's worst matchup?
The deck's worst matchup.
Well, shit, with fucking 16 cards you can put in there, do they even have one?
I don't think this deck really has a worse matchup. I think if you build the deck right, at least right now, if you build this deck maining Dark Ruler No More and maybe Imperm, I don't feel like with those two cards main deck, you don't have a bad matchup with anything this meta. I feel like everything is neutral at least. Because I was thinking mainly Super Heavy Samurai and like, basically people doing what Sean is doing in his deck, summoning like Spell Canceller, Archlord, Christia, whatever. But like Imperm and Dark Ruler No More takes care of those cards.
Right.
So therefore, I at least had the chance to not automatically lose game one.
Right.
So it'll at least have the game one advantage.
Right.
Or just off the prize factor.
And then also, like, even if, like, say for instance, those cards become really prevalent and like everybody's maining or doing something like something spell canceller turn one, Archer, Christie, or whatever.
I would
You
see
know,
more.
I will just play these cards. I will play these. I will play Imperm. So you play Imperm, you play triple Imperm in whatever your deck, and then you can also play Pot of Prosperity, which lets me dig, which lets me dig into my deck. Which lets me dig into my deck to get these cards to out your board.
I was going to ask you. I didn't see any like consistency amplifiers like prosperity or anything like that. Is this deck one of those decks where you would not want to benefit from desires or have to go through that?
Desires, no. Sometimes you need prosperity to get certain cards. But because everybody is main decking draw, I don't want to draw a hand where like I have the prosperity and then I just have to trigger the draw.
Yeah.
But because that creates more like deck building conundrums, right? So like, say for instance, I was playing prosperity, and then everybody's playing draw. I would probably have to main gamma to counteract the draw. But see, another stupid thing about draw is draw can be played twice, which a lot of people forget. So if you open up 2 draws. And I go search something, you will activate draw. I go chain called by. You can literally go chain the second draw, and the second draw resolves. And I'm just upset.
If you got it,
it doesn't come much. But yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Because I've done that to people a few times, and people go like, "You can use it." Yeah. This isn't like the other hand traps. This was written before. They put once per turn on shit.
Right.
Oh, you gotta love that old text.
Right. It's the old text.
The old text is the best text. So
I made a career. I revived my career, I should say, off of
old text.
People was like, wait, what kind of shit is this?
Shout out to old text. But Leon, Leon, this is the part where we ask you as a duelist, we try and get to know you better. So
all right. What's up? What we got?
Questions. Not too crazy. So what's the best part of Yu-Gi-Oh?
The best part of Yu-Gi-Oh for me, I have a couple of answers to that. So I do love traveling. I love traveling a lot. That's actually why I love my new job. I don't know if you guys follow me on social media, but my job, they very easily send me to places. Like I took a work trip to New York. They paid for the hotel room. They paid for all my food. I expensed expensing food is like my favorite thing in the world. I literally went to Little Italy in Soho, New York. And I kept the receipt and they just paid me back for all of it. And it was the best fucking thing ever. I was just like, damn, this shit's great. But overall, I love traveling.
You can double down and use those for your taxes.
Double down is crazy.
No, I don't think I can do all that.
They let you keep the receipts.
No, I have to submit the receipts.
Oh, okay.
Right. I have to submit the receipts to get.
Sometimes they let you just do.
Look, that's a whole finance podcast. Me and you could go on that another time. That's a whole finance right there.
You gotta learn how to finance and do this Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, man.
Right.
Wombo combo.
But yeah, I really love traveling, and I really love those moments in Yu-Gi-Oh where the person has the I eat ass face. Like you do some crazy ass play, or like perfect example, the double droll thing. Like that happens and people just go like, you could do that? And they're just looking at this card like, what? I just lose here. I'm like, yeah, you fucking just lose here. You know damn well scoop this shit up. Like, I love those moments. Like, all jokes aside, those are some of the best moments in the game where people just go like, God damn, I just fucking lose. Yeah, you fucking lose. Yeah. Scoop this shit up, bro.
The moment of realization.
Right.
Basically. You like to see the light in their eyes.
Traveling and the I eat ass face.
Yep. Traveling the IES.
What's the worst part?
The worst part is actually just some of the people. There's a lot of people in this game that are just shit people. And I do have a story about that because like I've been in this game for a long time. And obviously I had people in the game I didn't like, which everybody does. You're not going to like every person. But it was one person ever in this game that if I saw on the street after that event, I would have punched him in the face.
Not hands.
Straight up hands, because I felt so cheated and so robbed. So this person is actually a judge. Obviously not going to say names, but this judge basically deck checked me. I was at table 3 at a regional. It was like round 7. This person deck checked me. I'm undefeated. I'm feeling great about my deck choice because nobody else is playing this deck right now. So I get deck checked and he goes like, yeah, random cards in your deck are marked. And I was playing 60 card Infernoid. So if you know the Inferno deck, there is cards in that deck you never want to draw and you never want to see. But these cards were marked. It was some of these cards along with like one random Ash Blossom because I played 3. It was like
you know what? I remember that regional.
Right.
I remember.
Don't say no names if you remember.
No, I remember they forced you to go get another Ash Blossom. I remember that.
So after this happens, I literally get pulled behind like the judge table, and luckily the head judge, Paul Fay, he knows me personally. He's like, Leon, I know you wouldn't do this, but I still gotta give you a game loss. You gotta change your cards. Because he literally told me if I was anybody else, it looks like I was cheating. It looked like I had Mark's cards and I was cheating. So I had to go get new cards, and I had to replace those cards. And after I replaced the cards, I go back to this judge and I give him my deck, and I'm like, all right, am I good now? And he starts looking at the deck and he tells me to go sit down at the table. So mind you, I'm like right there because I'm at table 3. And so he eventually walks over, gives me my deck, and goes like, he tells my opponent, I lose game 1 because of whatever, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, right, I get my deck, I start pile shuffling. I'm playing 60 cards. And while I'm pile shuffling, I'm counting, and I'm like 61, 62, 63, 64. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? So I go in my deck. I have the extra copies of cards I don't play. I have MST in my deck, which I just didn't even play at all, not in main or side. It was an MST in my deck. It was, I believe, 5 copies of Raiden the Lightsworn Hand because I played like a Lightsworn engine in the deck. And I'm just like, yo, Judge, you just gave me back my deck and there's extra cards. And he looked at me, and without saying nothing, he was like, game loss, and he took the slip. And then he just walked off. Like, he didn't even let me sign the slip. He took the slip.
The cards on you.
Right. So in my deck, I had like 63 to 65 cards. So I had 3 to 5 cards extra in my 60 card deck. And I'm just like, what the fuck just happened? And then I tried to tell Paul. Paul's like, I'm going to go talk to him. And nothing really came about it. And I was so heated. Like, I actually was like, yo, I want to hit this guy because I felt so cheated and so targeted. And I'm just like, this has never happened to me. Anybody who knows me in this community, like, I can take losing. Like, as long as you're not cheating me, I can take losing in any capacity. Like, perfect example, one of my hobbies nowadays, I know y'all haven't really talked to Young Boy a lot, but one of my hobbies nowadays, I play poker. I go to casino, I can go there with $1,000 and lose $1,000. And it's happened before. But like, I go to the casino, sometimes I come up $1,500. Like, the thing is, I'm not upset with losing. I'm upset with feeling cheated, and I felt extremely cheated. And that was the first and only time in this game I wanted to throw hands. So I hate certain people. To get back to your question, I hate certain people in this game. And I guess the next thing on top of that is I hate pretty much just cheaters. That's just pretty much it. I hate feeling cheated, and I hate cheaters.
Or like, just listen and play the game, or just have the same chance that the next person has. That's
right, because there's just so many people in this game who just want to win so badly that they resort to cheating, they resort to rule sharking. Like, I actually witnessed it because at Waffles, I believe, I want to say like a month ago, they had a VIP qualifier for the YCS coming up in Philly. It's a guy there. I'm not saying his name once again, but it was a guy there, and he was rule sharking the entire time. And then the judge at the time, she was a fairly newer judge, and I tried to give her advice on what to do in these situations because Yu-Gi-Oh judging rules, like, you can't penalize somebody for what they did at a previous event. So, like, perfect example, if I was caught cheating at a different Yu-Gi-Oh event and I got like DQ'd from that tournament, right? Say for instance, I'm not banned, but I got DQ'd from that tournament. If I go to another tournament, no judge can look at me and be like, yo, that tournament he was at, he got DQ'd for cheating. Let's DQ him again. You can't do that. So with that being said, this guy is known for sharking. He's literally known for it, but like, the penalties don't carry over to events. So he's just sharking people. I think round 2, he actually got somebody else DQ'd because he was sharking. Right. It was like really bad. And I just hate cheaters. It's just like, why do you feel like you have to win so bad? And
they try to
go ahead. It makes you mention that because that guy in the very next week went to another tournament down. I believe it was in
New York. It was Gamer's Choice in New York.
Yeah, and
I know exactly about it.
Yeah.
With the Gamer's Choice in New York, and I think he won or came in second. because he got our boy Pete.
Mhm.
He got our boy Savage Pete.
Shout
The
out to
thing is, what Woo Sharkers is, they tend to do it to people who don't really know what the cards do, what the cards don't do. So my advice to a lot of people is,
Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of ways to cheat in Yu-Gi-Oh.
oh,
So,
I
like,
know, I
I
know,
get what you're saying, but like, you can even do that with your own cards because he did
right,
this. So, perfect example. He's playing closer to time, and he's reading his own cards. He's not reading his opponent's cards. What I would personally do as a judge is like, yo, you're mid to late in a tournament, and you don't know what your own cards do. I'm calling you on that. I have plenty of stories of me being a judge calling people on their shit.
right.
that. I mean, that's what we gonna get to that. Like, one
Right.
of the weirdest rulings you did, but so we got cheaters, basically cheaters and cheaters. Worst part,
Right.
Right.
Being cheated and cheaters. That's
Being
what we
cheated.
have.
Well, yeah. Favorite card all time.
Favorite card, Scrap Dragon. I own about 800 OT first Scrap Dragons. When I get to 1,000, I'm just going to post who has one, and I'm probably just going to buy. I'm going Kaibo on these motherfuckers.
Yes, need them
Yeah,
all.
I just want all of them.
Shout
Like,
out
I
to
literally have tabs in my head of who owns OT Scrap Dragons in our community. Like, I know X has one, Xavier. I know he has one. I'm gonna get that off him eventually, but I know he has one. I keep tabs.
Yes,
you got a hit list of who got Scrap Dragon.
Damn
Me
right.
too.
I know 3 players in Jersey who go to Jersey locals that have OT Scrap Dragons who I'm gonna get. Like, I keep tabs. Like, dead ass.
I'm on your ass, nigga.
Right. I want to get all of them. Once I hit 1,000, I'm just gonna be like, today's Scrap Dragon is worth $500.
So, favorite deck to play.
Favorite deck to play. I would have to say that is either between Black Wings or Quick Draw. And those 2 decks were very fun to me only because that's when I started winning competitively. So Black Wings was my very first meta deck. Back when it was like double Whirlwind, Sirocco, summon a bunch of guys attack, make double Dark Strike Fighter for game. That was like my first actual meta deck that I actually like did really well with.
Matter
So
fact-
I'm
Go
not
ahead.
Math Black Wings.
So, matter of fact, I remember that because that's around the time.
I think this is his interview. This guy's
No. Seriously, that was around the time I took a break and I came back. So
Goose, you've been on a break since.
no,
Man, let's not
no.
even get in there, bro.
That's why we don't care, Goose. The fuck.
I haven't played competitive. I haven't played competitive since 2016. Okay, there you go.
Favorite format.
Favorite format? Metaphors. Metaphor format was definitely my favorite because I was arguably in the tri-state area the top 3 best players with that deck. The only other people that were arguably better than me was Jesse Samick, and that was because he traveled to events, and I think he won a UDS, if I remember correctly, and he topped like a couple of national events, and I wasn't traveling during that time. And the other person was Frazier for the same reason. He went to events, he topped. But like in terms of like the tri-state area, every place I went to, I either won or top with that deck. That was just my deck at the time. I love that deck. That deck was just so versatile. Like people will flip up D barrier, and I'm like, okay, you're calling pendulum. I'm just going to start exceed summoning and fusion summoning now. Like the deck was just super like
wide
flexible.
range.
It was a wide range. I really loved that deck. That was definitely probably my favorite format, and it was just because of doing good and winning. And I guess that's a little biased, but like the deck was still very good and very fun to play. Like the deck didn't feel like overpowering. It didn't feel like you played against the deck and just lost.
This nigga put the horror lights on.
Right.
Card you feel you put on the map.
A card I feel like I put on the map. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't really think I put any real cards on the map. I do have a trend of getting cards before they're hyped because I just do my research. Like I actually just recently did that with this card here I'm going to show on screen, Santa Claus. So this card is basically a kaiju, but it's good because you can summon it in defense for this deck. This deck plays a lot of exceed monsters, meaning you can attack it, take some damage, go into Zeus. And when I told one of my friends about it, who's also currently playing this deck, the card was maybe like $2-3. Now the card is about 18-20 bucks a pop. So I'm not going to say I put the card on the map, but I do get on cards before a lot of other people do.
Hey, own it. Fuck it.
Right. I'm not going to say I brought the cards because like I do my research. I see what like they're playing over in like, you know, Japanese territory and shit like that. But yeah, I don't think I put a card on the map. Not that I can remember. A deck I did kind of help put on the map though was Dragon Lake. I did help with that. I did not create the deck. The deck was created by Shumping and some of his friends over in OCG. And when he brought it back over to TCG, I think I was the first and only person he told at first. And so we both went to a regional and we played the deck, and the deck performed extremely well. And then that following week, we talked about the deck, and then he went to the UDS and won and went completely undefeated with Dragon Link. So I felt like I helped a little bit put it on the map at least because a lot of people.
He's taking his percentage. You're taking your percentage.
Right, I'm taking my cut. I did a little bit of work. I'm gonna give him his props. Obviously, it was mostly him, but I did have my ideas, my input, and then a lot of people also asked me about like the deck and the combo. I still remember being at AU one day, and people were just like, "Yo, what's the combo for their deck?" And I'm just showing them. All right, cool. Starly Schaefer, full board.
Listen, own it, man. That's like there's nothing wrong owning it.
Right.
Favorite pack.
Favorite pack. Probably Duelist Revolution. That's when that's the pack Scrap Dragon came in. You know, shout out to my mans. Also, that's when Pot of Duality came out in that pack as well originally. And that card was $100 each. And that card made me some fucking money. It was a time me and Xavier, for the people watching and they don't know, Xavier is one of the best, you know, vendors in our area. You know, he owns everything. He can get anything. He's one of the best in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh vending in our area. So it was one regional I didn't play. Me and X went in with like scraps. We had like shitty books. We had like maybe $75 a piece, and we just made bank. We started flipping cards, Pot of Desires. We came out with full books. It was the craziest thing ever. That card made me at least a couple of hundred that day alone. So yeah, definitely shout outs to Duelist Revolution.
Shout out to them. Favorite opponent.
Favorite opponent. Damn, that's a tough one. I guess it's two sides of this. So in terms of competitive play, I like playing people who are better than me. So like all the famous people, because I feel like I have something I can learn from them. So like perfect example, Terra Limit format. I was really good in that format because it was a one deck format. And I played a lot of good people that format. And I lost to these people, but every time I lost, I learned something. So I was very appreciative of that, even though it was frustrating because like it was a lot of regionals where I came in like 12th, 11th. And all these regionals, I finished X1 and 1. And then I also like playing people who I know I have better fundamentals than these people. Yes. Because then I kind of just have fun with the game. So like perfect example, like Thursday night. So tonight, if I was at AU, my fundamentals are generally better than everybody else who enters the Thursday night Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. So this is why I get away with Thursday nights playing bullshit cash chair decks. You know, and I'm just better than them. So I get to generally have fun and like maybe talk a little shit and like
I appreciate how you hopscotch around that question, but you know,
the Boone is in the chat. Let him in the chat.
What are you talking about? Oh,
yeah, Gus just said I'm here for 10 minutes now.
I'm here for 10 minutes. He's here for questions.
What's up?
What's up? I've been sitting on there looking for 10 minutes. Nobody knows I was on.
I had the full screen on. He just hot shit around favorite opponent. Favorite player to watch.
Favorite player to watch. Back in the day, I definitely enjoyed watching Frazier play on a competitive level because I was able to talk to him. So it was real nice because I was able to just be like, yo, can I talk to you? Like, why did you make this play? Why did you do that? And a lot of players don't have access to that. You can watch like a stream of a player playing, but you don't get the opportunity to go talk to them. Like, what was your thought process about why you made this play or why you did X, Y, and Z? So I would definitely say Frazier, definitely. I don't really have any other players I enjoy watching like that because since then I have evolved enough as a player to think out why they would do anything in any given scenario and their outcomes, basically, or their thought processes behind it. So I don't really have one as of right now, but back in the day, definitely Frazier.
Fair enough. Dream 3-man team.
Dream 3-man team. Damn, that's a tough one. I don't know. There's a lot of people I would like to team with only because of like their personalities and the way they play. Gus actually being one of them, because Gus is a very unique player. Like perfect example, like when he was playing Cashier, he had his own twist to it, and a lot of people didn't see that coming and didn't know what to do about it. So Gus would definitely just catch people off guard, and he was actually one of the first players on Goki before that was a thing. Shout out to Gus for that. But I guess a 3-man team. I guess probably for the culture, it'll probably be like me, Gus, and the Fresh Prince here.
Hey, I made another 3-man squad. I love it.
Yeah.
Right, because like all jokes aside, like Sean be catching people off guard, and I'd be watching Sean play now, and I'd be like, how y'all people don't be getting clapped by these virtual worlds, bro? Like,
fundamentals. It's like you say, you be just pressing them fundamentals on them.
It's like the young boy. It's like the young boy.
Right, exactly. But yeah, that would probably be like the most fun 3-man team, the most creative one, because both Sean and Gus are very creative players. In terms, yeah, go ahead.
Pet peeve with opponents. Worst pet peeve with opponents.
Pet peeve of what?
Pet peeve with opponents would do.
I hate when opponents ask me how many cards in hand won. This happens at least once every 3 games I play. Where I would lose the die roll.
How many cards in hand?
Right, I would lose the die roll. Maybe I will activate one hand trap, so I'll activate like an Ash Blossom. And then they'll start doing stuff, and then they'll go cards in hand. I'm like, what is 5 minus 1? I didn't do anything else. Or sometimes in certain cases they'll go like cards in hand, and I'm like, I didn't do anything. It's 5. But yeah, that's probably my biggest pet peeve.
With 5, don't forget Goose.
Which makes more, 1,000 pounds of feathers or 1,000 pounds of bricks?
Cam, where you at?
Where you at? 8,000 Goose.
What's up here? I got this. It's the feathers.
Yeah, it's the feathers.
I can say what I'm like. What?
I was just saying what you said. Favorite pre-release.
Favorite pre-release? Let's see. I think my favorite pre-release, I forget the set, but it was the set where Performer Power Position came in.
I know the set.
Like it was the set Ghost Ogre first came in, Performer Power Pendulum Magician first came in. Because that deck was just so absurd and so powerful, and I was lucky enough, like all the cards just came to me. Luckily, like I opened up some packs, got most of the cards. I think I only had to buy like 3 cards out of the like maybe 10 cards needed. I packed the rest of them, or I was able to trade for the rest of them, and then I just had the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh at that time, where like I went first, Cyber Dragon Infinity, 3 Solemn Strikes, Solemn Warning, Solemn Judgment. Good luck.
Since you're a judge, what's the weirdest ruling you've heard?
The weirdest ruling I heard. So it was a lot of them. So we can start with people just being fucking stupid. Like I remember one time at a Philly regional, a guy asked me if Decode Talker. I'm gonna bring this card up. So this card right here, he asked me, since my opponent is activating a card effect that targets this monster this card points to, can I tribute a monster this card points to negate it? And I looked at him and I said, read the card. And then he picks up the card, and just like this, he starts reading. I'll go like, no, read it out loud. So he starts reading, gains 500 attack, and then I was like, stop. What do you think the answer is? And then I walked off, and then he asked for a time extension. I said no. And then
you lose time.
Right, because I was like, there's no way you're this fucking stupid. Like, I understand everybody isn't the smartest person in the room, but it makes no sense how some people can be that dumb. It makes no sense to me. And then another weird ruling is I saw somebody try to, when people try to shark other people, and then I call them out on it, and then they just look stupid. I guess that ties back to what I enjoy about Yu-Gi-Oh! Making people look stupid sometimes. And sometimes you just have to. So the situation was like, the guy was under D-Bear. It was Terror Element format. The guy was under D-Bear. He called fusions. He goes like, summon a monster. He pitched a Terror Element name, and then he's thinking. And then time gets called, and he's taking like 10 minutes in his turn. And so I come over there, and I was just like, okay, what's going on? The guy basically says his opponent's slow playing. And so I seen most of this turn, and I'm just like, why are you thinking about activating a Terror Element graveyard effect when you're under D-Bear?
I'm engaged. You the one that's married.
Huh?
Look, he the one that's married.
What? What am I hearing right now?
Oh, my bad, yo. I'm gonna get out of this real bad.
All right, G.
All right, G. I was like, what's going on? Who married? But no, so basically I called him on his slow playing, and he tried to hurry up and sign the slip. I was like, no, I'm getting the head judge, and you're going to get a fucking DQ. Because fuck you. Because he did this 3 other times. Like I said, I don't fuck with cheaters.
Right.
Sean can tell you, at the Waffles Regionals, I said as the head judge, I was like, listen, if I catch you cheating, I'm penalizing you to the full extent of my power. Right. I don't fuck with that. Because it fucking sucks to travel all the way to an event, pay $20, $25 to play in this event just to get cheated. But that's it. That's my, I guess, weirdest judge questions.
We all out here, we all battling. Let's keep it fair.
Right.
I mean, do what you want on the field, as long as it's fair.
Right.
But Leon's here. Appreciate you showing up. Appreciate you answering the questions. Appreciate you showing out the deck. Appreciate you tolerating the Goose and his questions so you could know, what.
No, it's cool. It's cool. What's going to happen is Goose going to start playing again because when I get my life back together, I'm going to go back to streaming locals and stuff. And I'm busting Goose shit, no homo, on stream. I'm going to
Leon. Let's not forget the count here, brother. But at the end of the day, you might be better than me right now, brother.
Like always.
Stop.
Hold up. Cam, you can actually attest to this. My first tournament win at Game Magic. Who that was in the finals?
Was me.
Right. And I ran your shit. That's crazy.
And then how many other tournaments we played in and you got your shit pushed in? By me.
Not by you.
Stop.
I have a very good memory, not by you. I remember being destroyed by the Youngborn Destroyer.
Look, I don't lose. Look, I didn't lose to you that often.
Can beat me with Dark Necrofair.
I don't lose to you that often. We played a few times. I don't lose to you that often.
This on stream one day.
One day.
All right,
turn up the Goose.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to issue a challenge to the Goose live right now.
We can stream that.
Me playing you in current format is unfair. That is one-sided. That is assisted suicide. We're not going to do that. I want you to pick a format. Goose, I want you to pick a format. You pick the format, you get back to me, we'll play that format.
Fine, Leon. You want to play, I'll play.
Hey, Goose. Right. Goose, just to let you know.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you.
Yes.
What? No. You want to play? We'll play. Fine.
You got he put the bet out. So listen,
I'll play the challenge. Do you accept?
I told you. I'll play.
What format you want to play? You want to play chaos format?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
All right, it's your pick. You let
so
me
I don't agree with the assisted suicide, Goose. So I'm gonna let you think about it. Then
no, I mean, look. I know my skill level, and I know what I'm good at.
You gonna
So
go back to Dragon format?
Right, and
That's what you're
Yu-Gi-Oh's
gonna
not one of them. It's fine.
okay, whatever. But if you want to play, sure, I'll play you, man.
All right, just
I'll
pick
Add
the
play you.
format.
It could
another
be a
rivalry
current
to-
format. It
If
could
it's
be a
current
current
format,
format.
you're getting destroyed.
Okay, we'll see.
If it's current format, you're 100%
We'll see.
getting destroyed.
Okay, we'll see.
You heard it here folks first, guys. We're
Hey,
about to have this class
hey,
going
Leon,
on.
before you bounce, where they can find you at if you start streaming again. When you start streaming again.
When I start streaming, I believe I have it under my name. So my name, I'll just change it real quick, just so the stream can capture it real quick. You know what I'm saying? So this is my name on all my platforms. It's pretty much the name I have there. I can't type right now. Excuse me. I work in IT, but I can't type. But yeah, you can find me at NovaLeo411 on Twitch. That is also my dueling book name. So I'm going to start playing on here more. That is also my gamer tag on PS5. So like you can find me. That is just my name. I'm living it. I'm owning it. It's also my Instagram. So when I start getting into the hack of streaming, and I do appreciate you, putting me out there. I didn't want to piggyback off your fame and your success, because I know I have to stop being a lazy son of a bitch and get to work. And I admit that. That was my
it's all love here. It's all family. Get your
right,
shit
but I admit that I haven't been consistent because of life. But I'm almost at the point where life is about to be real stable for me. Therefore, I can start being consistent again with streaming and uploading and things like that. So hopefully I will get started back on this maybe next month, hopefully. So look out for that. I do appreciate anybody who wants to stop by Twitch, give me a follow, stop by the YouTube, give a subscribe, whatever you want to do. But if not, I'm going to get the ball rolling on my own eventually. But I do appreciate, the shout out and allow me to advertise on, your platform. Right.
Ain't nothing wrong with the shameless plug. I be fucking up on the shameless plug. But Trouble Rain's there. Hopefully
Right.
he doesn't get bodied.
Okay, we'll see.
You getting bodied on WWE 2K23, so it's just like we already know that.
Well, whatever you say on that way.
Fresh Prince of Fundamentals. I mean,
right.
Border Cartel Financials. You and Leon. I don't know. I just
We can start that up. Right. So we can definitely get the talk going, because I would love to show people how they can, add a different aspect to,
Oh yeah, I'm definitely down for this talk. Me and Sean just be talking about crazy shit like on a mental level.
Yeah,
like we just like even at the Waffles Regional when I ran into you, we had that mini talk about finance when you were signing up. Remember?
Yeah.
It was like that quick 5-minute thing, and you was just like, "All right, let me look into that."
And I love it. I love it every time.
Right.
I love coming up with new things or just like dropping new bombs, because like just having the freedom to be able to enjoy these hobbies or enjoy this
life,
their profession and just life in general. You know what I mean? Like, gotta
right,
get
but
stability.
I'm always down to talk more about the game. I would love to come back, because all jokes aside, like even though me and Goose was talking shit, whatever, like y'all all cool as shit, and I miss you guys. Like me and Cam haven't spoken in a good minute, but I got all love for Cam. I see Sean once in a while because he's been playing the game once in a while, and Goose, I rarely see you, bro. But you gotta come out the house and like not even trolling. You gotta stop being like, "Yo, I'm coming back," and then I don't see you.
No, I'm gonna start playing again. I'm gonna start playing again.
Because man, you still irk my soul about that Starleaf Safer.
Oh my God, Leon, do you want the cards, man?
I don't want them now. I wanted them then. I was going to pay you for them.
I wanted them now, bitch. I wanted
I mean, like, God. All right, listen. I just bought some cards earlier. I'm going to play. Trust
all right, man. I'm holding you to it.
I'm playing that Philly. I already said I'm playing that Philly.
All right, no bullshit.
I'll definitely be at the Philly YCS, interviewing all that good stuff. But
I'm going to be playing. Hopefully, I do good. I'm about to. Actually, this upcoming week, I've just been play testing and studying the game. Because like I said, this deck, for this deck to be proficient, you have to know the game. You have to know what's being played in the current meta. So like I've been doing a lot of studying, just practicing things and interactions and things like that. So I'm going to hopefully do good at the YCS. Shout outs if I get there. If not, better luck next time. Fuck it. It is what it is. But yeah.
hopefully we swing back through, later on. Or
Absolutely, I'd love to have you back on. Maybe you could,
Right, I have no problem talking about the other decks. So yeah, I'm definitely down for it.
Or just co-hosting,
Oh, I don't mind. Co-hosting is great because I can be pretty entertaining. Actually, back in the day, I don't know a lot of people know this, but I actually used to commentate on fighting games.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, that was actually really fun for me. It was a lot of action, a lot of stuff you had to like watch over. So like perfect example, as Sean knows, back in the day, I used to play Marvel vs. Capcom 3 competitively. And because I play competitively, I did a bit of commentating for that. And I actually met one of the gods of commentary, Yipes, if you know him. His commentary, like you don't even have to know the game. His commentary is just like great and it's hilarious. Yipes Mendoza. That's his tag. But yeah, he's great. IFC Yipes, I believe it is.
So before we get off this this stream right here, convince my co-host to pick up a deck so he can start playing again.
Okay. Wait.
I'll come back.
Wait. Hold up. You're the host and he's the co-host?
I said my co-host. Meaning like he's look.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's number one and you number two.
I'm on this stream, I mean.
I'm just talking shit.
But no. Convince my co-host to pick up a deck, okay? So you can feel alive again.
All jokes aside, in terms of getting back into Yu-Gi-Oh, you can get back into Edison format real easy. It's actually really big. There's a lot of tournaments for it, and then all the cards. Like you're not gonna get hit with anything new. All the cards, Cam. You've been around long enough. So like if you wanted to get back into Yu-Gi-Oh, I would definitely say start with Edison format. As you guys know, Frazier is a big advocate of Edison format, so he's definitely a person to talk to.
You talked about it the last episode.
Right.
He mentioned it when he was on here, yep.
Right. So definitely I would definitely say talk to him. Just start playing some Edison, get a feel for physically just playing the game. And then in my personal opinion, I felt like if I did play Edison, it would get boring because we know all the cards already. There's not going to be new cards added to the pool of Edison because it kind of just like roadblocks in Yu-Gi-Oh history. So once you get bored of it, then you can start looking at modern Yu-Gi-Oh. And now
and do my little baby steps.
Right, just baby steps, just get in there a little bit at a time, That's what I would say. But yeah,
are you happy? Are you happy? We
can take baby steps, Baby steps could definitely happen.
Look, listen, I'll be a full-time duelist. Okay?
Oh God. Anyways, we're Cartel, Facebook, IG, YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, TikTok, Twitch. Nova Leo. Follow him next month when he get back on his feet.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Fresh
Anytime,
fundamentals. Lore Cartel Finance coming soon, and then it's just Goose. So
y'all gotta have me for the finance. Me and Sean.
Of course, y'all too. And then shout out Blurred Official. Go follow them on YouTube, blurred.com, all that good stuff.
I subscribed. Did y'all? Y'all better subscribe.
Might as well. The fuck.
Right.
We out of here, good fellows. Good
all right.